stuck. SakuAtsu Oneshot. Atsumu was running late in his class. He was banging his head slowly with his hand while running. He was regretting having to drink so much that night. Now he feels like his head is about to explode. Aish, I shouldn't have agreed to play that darn game with Suna and Samu. I wouldn't have gotten drunk and wouldn't be late. Atsumu continued running even though his head was throbbing. He was panting when he finally reached his classroom. You're late. Oh sensei. I meant, oh sensei. Atsumu just scratched his head and proceeded to his seat when his teacher did not answer him. He proceeded to roam his eyes around the room and he saw his twin and Suna trying to stop themselves from laughing. Rude. Well, Atsumu already expected those two, but he was taken aback when his eyes landed on Sakusa Kiyumi. He was stifling a smile. A bit shocked because Kiyumi doesn't usually smile, he just turned his eyes elsewhere. However, he could hear his heart beating as if it wants to jump out of his chest. When classes were finally over, Atsumu sighed in relief. He decided to go to the library to borrow the book he always wanted to read. Not a lot knows, but Atsumu loves to read. He entered the library and saw that it was empty. Everyone must have hurried home since it's the weekends tomorrow. Atsumu thought while shrugging his shoulders. As he was walking, he finally saw the book on the last aisle, so he quickly went to grab it when another hand grabbed the same. Atsumu looked up and his eyes widened when he saw Kiyumi holding the book. He was about to say something when Kiyumi beat him to it. It's okay, you can have it. Okay. You're staring at me. Atsumu wasn't able to process what happened, so he did not notice that he was already staring. What? And no. I was only checking you out. Atsumu said hurriedly but immediately regretted it when he saw Kiyumi smirked. The book. I mean I was checking out the book. Atsumu uttered quickly while Kiyumi's smile widened. Sure, I believe you. Hemp. Don't flatter yourself. But instead of answering, it was Kiyumi's turn to stare at him. Now what are you staring at? What? However, it was Kiyumi's turn to get flustered now. His cheeks turned red and he ducked his head down, averting his gaze while muttering a little sorry. Atsumu blew the inside of his cheeks before talking. Anyways, I better get home now. It's getting late. Okay. Kiyumi simply said while nodding, and Atsumu went on towards the door to open it. However, the door would not budge. Atsumu grabbed the handle again and unshaked it strongly, but still no avail. Atsumu looked at the peephole and then he saw that the lights in the corridor were already turned off. They were stuck together inside the library, locked. What? They locked us in. What should I do? I'm claustrophobic, I can't stay in this room. Atsumu was starting to panic and while feeling his breath quicken and he kept muttering to himself. Kiyumi. Atsumu shouted with all his might and turned to Kiyumi while tears were streaming down his eyes. Atsumu. What's wrong? Kiyumi asked frantically while Atsumu was still gasping as he couldn't breathe properly. I can't. Kiyumi looked at Atsumu's state and he quickly pulled him to rest on his chest. Just breathe. But he just felt Atsumu tugging on his shirt tighter. Match my breathing. Kiyumi said, but Atsumu softly shook his head. Come on, just match my breathing. Kiyumi continued to encourage and Atsumu tried, but all that came out were painful gasps. Atsumu. Kiyumi said his name softly and the latter looked up at him with his eyes puffy. Just breathe, in and out. Kiyumi instructed him and Atsumu tried his best to follow. Several painful moments later, Atsumu's breathing finally evened out and Kiyumi sighed in relief. You okay? Kiyumi asked and Atsumu nodded his head a little. Thank you. Kiyumi smiled at him and nodded his head. They were already sitting side by side near the door now. So, we're locked here together. Kiyumi said that while rubbing the back of his neck. I don't know how we got locked here. Atsumu said while rubbing his temples. I'll try to call Toya. Maybe he can get us out. I'll try to call my twin and Suna as well. They both stood up and went to their bags to get each of their phones. However, they went back almost at the same time throwing. I can't reach him. I forgot my phone's battery's dead, I don't have my charger with me and I don't remember their phone numbers. They both sighed at the same time. Kiyumi was also scratching his head a little. Then I guess we don't have a choice now. We'll just have to wait until someone gets us out of here tomorrow. Atsumu said while walking to sit on one of the chairs. We don't have school tomorrow, Atsumu, it's the weekend. Kiyumi said and Atsumu sprung out of his chair. What the hell? Atsumu yelled so loudly while Kiyumi started to laugh. Why are you laughing? Is our situation funny to you? Atsumu said while glaring at him. It's just that, I have never heard you curse before. You don't look like the type to curse this loud in front of other people. Kiyumi said and Atsumu's cheeks went red in embarrassment. So what type of person do you think I am then? Atsumu asked while folding his hands in front of his chest. Kiyumi on the other hand put his hands inside his pocket and started to stare at Atsumu. The type who can make anyone fall head over heels for him. Kiyumi said that sincerely and Atsumu felt his cheeks blushing much more intensely. Atsumu stuttered, not knowing what to say. It's frustrating that you never figured out that I was in love with you this whole time. Atsumu froze in his position. He's in love with me. As in me. Why? Why are you in love with me? Kiyumi just smiled and walked towards Atsumu. Because you're you. You're a bit clumsy, yes. You laugh at the littlest joke your twin and Suna throws at you. You sometimes embarrass yourself in front of others, but you're still one of a kind. You don't do things to impress anyone and you just do them because that's what makes you, you. And you don't put up with anyone else's nonsense. I don't know, but I noticed these things because I was observing you. It really was just pure curiosity at first because you really caught my attention, except for the fact that you're beautiful, but time passed, and I can't seem to stop myself from looking at you. That was maybe the time I felt this. Atsumu just smiled. He's confessing his love for me. I don't know if you find this weird that I'm suddenly talking about being in love with you, but I'm so sorry I don't know how to stop myself from talking. I'm so sorry if I'm making you uncomfortable right now. It's just that, it all just went out of my mouth suddenly and. But Kiyumi was cut off from rumbling when Atsumu looked into his eyes while he reached Kiyumi's cheek. You don't have to be sorry because you don't know how happy I feel right now. You made me happy with everything that you just said, Omi. Atsumu said it in almost a whisper while closing his eyes and moving towards Kiyumi to kiss him. Kiyumi grabbed his chin until their lips met. It felt right for them to kiss each other. The kiss was short but sweet. Kiyumi hugged Atsumu tightly while the latter returned it and rested his head on Kiyumi's chest. He felt Kiyumi kissing his temple. But you know we're still stuck here together for 2 days, right? What the hell, I forgot. Atsumu suddenly yelled loudly again while getting out of the hug. But Kiyumi just laughed and grabbed him for another hug again. Atsumu also laughed with him after a few moments and savored the warmth that was enveloping him. Oh, well, maybe getting stuck together was not so bad after all. End.
Are you interested in buying yourself some Haikyuu merch? From Karasuno High Team to Fukuradani High Team and Aoba Josai High Team. Go click the link in my description box now and get some awesome discounts from 20% up to 65% off. They offer you free worldwide shipping on orders over $39.90. So, what are you waiting for? Link in the description.